Good afternoon. I'm Kimberly Edwards from cookingwithkimberly.com, and I'm coming to you today with a new video. Tonight for dessert, we're having s'mores bread pudding. I love doing bread puddings. I do a lot of different bread puddings. I lived down south for a long time. I went to university down there. So I have some soul food roots and some southern roots, and I love bread pudding. It's an awesome way to use up bread that's a little older, or like you wouldn't make a sandwich with it, but it's not bad and you need to figure out something to do. It's an awesome way to use up your bread. It's very inexpensive and it's a fabulous dessert that is so tasty, it's belligerent. So I'm gonna get you started today. We're gonna do what I've already done is I'll show you. I had a couple different breads. You know when you have like 2 or 3 slices of bread at the end of your loaf or whatever? I had about 3 or 4 different loaves of bread in the fridge that was just a couple pieces. So what I did was I grabbed it and I cubed it into like 2-inch pieces. Let me show you, like that. This is actually like a multi-grain. I have like just a plain white. I even had some of, I don't know, other white breads. Like I think I had a French bread and an Italian bread. Irregardless, doesn't matter. You can use whatever you want. So I have the bread all cubed up. It's about 9 cups or so. You can use 8, 9 cups, 10 cups, whatever. You're kind of winging it, so we're good. And what I've already started with, I have my 9x13 baking dish, and I've already sprayed the mess out of it with some non-stick cooking spray. You could also grease it up with some vegetable oil or butter or whatever. So there's that. Next, what I'm doing in a separate bowl, separate mixing bowl, which I'm going to show you. You can't see my face now. I'm just going to talk to you. So here's my mixing bowl, okay? I have 5 eggs. I'm going to break 5 eggs in here. I like to start with the eggs because you can see if you have shells that have fallen into the bowl, and you can get them out easier. Now, if you've already mixed everything else in there, how do you get your egg shells out? Unless you put it in a separate bowl, which you often can do too, like a bowl like this, and then you add them too. But I just start with it, and that's how we're gonna roll. So 5 eggs worth, nothing spectacular. I'm not gonna separate them. You can if you want to be extra fancy, but I'm in a hurry as usual, as I know you guys probably are, and I just want something tasty and fast. So if you do that, what you would do is you would add the egg yolk, you would mix that all in and whip it up. You'd mix the ingredients with it, and then what you would do is in a separate bowl, you would fluff up the egg whites, and then you would fold the egg whites in, and it would make it a lot more fluffy and light, and it would rise more, okay? So that's what's going on there. Okay, so my 5 eggs are in here. I have no shells. I'm just gonna quick beat them up with a whisk. This is a whisk. Beat it up in there. Next, I'm gonna add my brown sugar, 1/2 cup. I usually add maybe a whole cup. It depends on the bread pudding I'm making. Tonight I'm making s'mores, so what does that mean? S'mores is chocolate, marshmallow, and graham crackers. Graham crackers aren't sweet, but the chocolate chips are and the marshmallows are. So I'm kind of cutting back on the other sugars. There we go. I'm just going to mix this in, dissolve it. There is nothing extra fancy about these recipes. Okay. Teaspoon of vanilla extract. Please, people, use real vanilla extract and not the artificial. The artificial is a byproduct of like making paper. How gross is that? It smells like it looks like it, but it is a byproduct. It's not even vanilla. Okay, so that's going into bloody. Here I have, I'm cutting back on the fat a little bit today. I usually use about 2 cups of 1/2 and 1/2 or whipping cream or whatever I have. Today I had some table cream in the fridge, and I mixed 1 cup of table cream with 1 cup of milk. And that's going to really reduce the fat content in here and make it a lot healthier. Okay, that's that. And that just gets mixed in with all this too. Next, doesn't that look lovely? Okay, here's my big bowl of bread, and here is my little bowl of wet liquid. What I'm going to do is I'm adding almost a cup of chocolate chips. Don't stress out if you don't have exactly what you always need for the ingredients that they're telling you. I mean, if you have 3/4 of it, or if you have almost whatever, that's what's up. I would use a cup today, but it's just under a cup. No big deal. They're the tiny little chocolate chips, and I think they would go really well. You can also, what you can do is you can break up chocolate bars or like dark chocolate. You could use baker's chocolate, and that would really reduce the sugar content. You might want to increase the sugar in that case, like the brown sugar. I don't know. There's so many different options you can use for chocolates. Sky's the limit, guys. But I wanted to do a basic s'mores recipe, real s'mores, okay? So I'm just going to pour in my wet into my dry bowl. Everything in there. With desserts, as I always tell you, you want to add a pinch of salt. In this case, however, when they make bread, bread is made with salt. Salt is already in the bread, so I don't need to add any more salt. I like to reduce salt content a lot whenever I can. So basically what you have is you have a big bowl of wet bread, in other words, right now. Everything is soaking together. I'm gonna leave this for 2 seconds. Here's my great big dish that's already semi-prepared. I have graham cracker crumbs, 1 cup. I'm using half of it right now. I'm going to sprinkle the bottom of the baking dish with it. Okay? Nothing fancy. Just sprinkle it all around. Make sure that you get that ingredient so you can have a nice taste, evenly distributed. So that's that. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. Voila. See? All on the bottom of the pan. Not rocket science. Now, since I have time constraints and I'm doing a video for you, this bad bowl I would usually put in the refrigerator for at least an hour, maybe even 2 hours, to make sure that the bread really soaks up all of the liquid. If your mixture looks a little too dry, which is not a good thing, if it's too dry, just go grab some more cream, pour it in there until it looks wet enough, okay? I'm gonna show you the consistency. This is actually very perfect today. This is what you want. The bread is maintaining its texture in some way, but it's very wet. It's still soaked through, okay? That's what my mixture looks like. So I'm gonna show you how I'm going to put this together. It's still gonna be fine. You do what you can, right? That's all there is to it. So evenly spread this out in the pan. Pour the rest of any liquid mixture that's in the bottom. Get all your little chocolate chips out. You could use, there's so many different options for bread pudding. I like to call bread pudding a Southern recipe. However, my mom just brought to my attention that my German grandmother, they came over from Russia, and when she would make bread pudding at the farm, she would make a version of bread pudding, but she would usually put fruit in it. I often do that too. But she would put cherries from the farm or peaches or anything that was in season and that she wanted to use up. And that's not much of a Southern recipe. It came from where she came from. And why is that? It's a peasant's dish, actually, because you're using day-old bread. You're using your old bread. Nothing goes to waste, right? So, voila. Doesn't that look marvelous, everybody? Yummy? I know you want some. You're going to want some of that. So, what I'm going to do now, the oven is preheated to 350 degrees. And I'm going to put this in the center rack, 350 degrees, for 45 minutes. It should rise a little bit. It's going to get less wet. It's going to set a little better because it has the eggs in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out after 45 minutes. I know you're asking where the marshmallows are. Stay tuned. Okay. So after 45 minutes, when it comes back out, it's going to be hot. Don't touch it with your hands. You're going to hurt yourself. But what I want you to do is I want you to spread. I have 10, these were large marshmallows. I've just quartered them, cut them into 4. So now they're kind of like small marshmallows. So I'm going to evenly spread them on the top. Spread them all over the top. And I'm going to sprinkle the remaining graham cracker crumbs, a little bit underneath the marshmallows, a little bit on top. Then what I'm going to do is we're going to put it back into the oven for about 15 minutes. Beware, marshmallows can burn. It's sugar. Sugar and air, and they're going to puff up. Don't get scared. They're supposed to puff up. It's going to cover it all beautifully and nicely, you know, like when you roast a marshmallow on a bonfire, which is where s'mores came from. So you're going to Evenly disperse them. They're going to puff up a little bit. They're going to turn golden brown. Keep your eyes peeled on them. Make sure you're watching every couple minutes because they can go from 0 to hero in 2 seconds flat on you and you'll be burnt and you won't be happy. Myself, I love burnt marshmallows. That's my favorite way to eat them in a bonfire. But, you know, when you're serving it to people, they probably don't like it. Not everybody likes it like that. So try and keep them golden brown. If you and your family really like burnt ones, go ahead, do it up. You can do it. Do whatever you want. This is your kitchen and what you like. So that's basically what it is. I can't show you the rest of it yet because it's a whole another hour before it's going to be ready. But that's what you're going to do. This big bad boy is going to be full of marshmallows on the top. And I usually serve my bread puddings with a sauce, like a sweeter sauce. However, this is going to be pretty sweet. I've got chocolate chips in here. I've got some brown sugar in here. I've got the marshmallows on top. It's going to be just too much if I serve it with a sweet sauce on top. So what I suggest is instead of making a sauce and doing all that, just grab some cream. Just pour a little bit of cream on top just to get it a little bit wet, a little something to play with, and you're good to go. This is a fabulous dish. Look how fast I made it. I mean, done. Now you don't even have to really look at it for another 45 minutes and you're pretty much done. You're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes before you eat it because it's too hot and you want it to kind of set up. You're also gonna do a test. You're going to stick like a knife in or a skewer or something like that and make sure that the center is set. You don't want wet egg and milk. Who wants that? No one wants that. So you want to make sure that it's baked properly or just put it in for a couple more minutes. That's about it, everybody. That's easy peasy bread pudding, right? Now, make sure you experiment with your ingredients. I've done island ones, mango in it. I've done sweet potato chai. The sky's the limit with flavorings because bread is such a neutral ingredient. Bread doesn't have much flavor. So you can do whatever you want. You can make it, you could even do like a savory bread pudding. Think about that. Put some onions in there, some green onions, some all different cheese and stuff. It'd be really nice too. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you find it easy and fast. It's really impressive actually. It's very tasty. That can feed a whole family. And that's what, like a half of a loaf of bread. So enjoy it, okay? I hope you guys try it. Let me know how you like the recipes. I want to know. Make sure you tune in on YouTube all the time, youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly. Follow me on Twitter @cookingwithkime with a capital E, and facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly is the fan page on Facebook. So make sure you come interact with me. I want to talk to you guys. I want to know what's going on, okay? I hope you all have a great night. Make sure you eat deliciously. Ciao.